So like Len mentioned, we'll be covering one or two templates, mostly spending our time in one primary template. And for those of you who maybe aren't that familiar with Prezi currently, Brianne shared a couple different presentations with me. So I've got one here, for example, that I'm streaming into this Zoom meeting. And Lynn, if you could spotlight me, I have mine on gallery. If you could just spotlight it real quick. Um, this is not the one that we'll be editing. This is one that you can actually just, it's already prepared, I believe. And you can see that it's got the three main topics that I could dive into. I do have the option to present this presentation linearly. So as you can see, I could go into this and I could bring in my background if I wanted to, right? And we could kind of, I could zoom in on this photo if I wanted to, or actually I think this is a video, and it is a video. So I could talk about how to find the prep high school program on the website, how to register and all of this stuff. So I've never actually seen this before. I just noticed this was shared with me this morning. And this video is just playing here. And I could keep going through all of this and I can narrate over it, right? And I could just skip through that. And then I have my other two topics as well. At any point, I can drop myself back into the camera feed, or I could put the background back in. My understanding was that they want you to use kind of both of these view modes because they are very proud of this this background, and it works great with your messaging. So it does make sense to bring in the background when you can. Maybe, for example, when you go into your next topic, right? Have it come back in, because otherwise you get you back here behind your content. It works really well to have your background here. This is another part you would edit right here, the enrichment times. So you'll know how to edit basic stuff like this by the end of today. And then you have the last topic down here, where again, you have the option to switch your view modes and all of that stuff. I could drop it off at any point as well, and bring it back in full screen. So nothing too fancy here. I don't really know what was intended with all of these things over here. I don't really know what the purpose was. I didn't make this. It just kind of looks like a bunch of random icons. Maybe it's still a work in progress, or maybe it's exactly as it's supposed to be. I just don't know. I didn't make it. But you would be able to edit stuff in here as well, put your email, your phone number, things like that. Okay, so this is just one example of kind of a Prezi with your particular context. So I'm going to pull up another one, and this one's actually blank. Okay, so this is the one that we'll be editing today. So I'll pull it up so you can have an idea of what it looks like to be presented. And right now it's called Club Template number 6. And right now it is completely empty. You could see here that it's got names like topic 1, very clearly empty, right? I don't know. So I think Brian's still working on this one as well. So intro for some reason isn't topic 1. It looks like it's actually topic 5, which of course we would just change, and we'll cover all of that as well. You go into the topics, you put in whatever information you want. If you want to insert a photo or a graph or a chart or a video or icons, a Bitmoji. We've got Bitmoji's integration. A lot of fun that you can have here, but very, very easy to navigate through a Prezi. And we'll just cover basics, right? Like adding photos, adding text boxes, changing fonts maybe. And specifically with the font, it'll be changing it to Noto Sans JP. That's what you're supposed to use for everything. But the templates are already set so that you don't have to change any fonts. But again, very simple stuff, right? How to edit this club name so you can put in your own club name. Colors you probably won't have to edit. By the looks of it, it looks like these are your brand colors, and you probably won't want to be changing them. The yellow and the blue and the white specifically, but very, very easy easy stuff today. So this was just a quick agenda. Does anybody have any questions about anything before we begin with Prezi creation, what Prezi is, how it navigates, what are topics, is this not PowerPoint? Any questions along those lines before I switch to a screen share and we start actually training the product? Sorry, my glasses are so dirty.
Welcome all questions.
Sorry, what was that, Lynn?
No, I was saying, don't be shy, guys. We welcome all questions.
Yeah, and if you don't have any yet, that's fine.
Have you guys heard of Prezi before? Like, are you guys familiar with the name? Okay, that's good. Good start.
So then in that case, I saw some no's there. In that case, it might help to, when I do switch to the screen share, it might help to just briefly show like an existing Prezi, or I'll just do that really quick. So let's go ahead and switch to a screen share. It does help to know how Prezi navigates differently than anything else, right? Any other platform. So let's switch to a screen share. And I'll just share my whole desktop, and let's move all you over here to this other screen. There we go. It did lose the names when for some reason, when you switch to screen share, the Zoom gallery removes everybody's names. So I do apologize if I don't use them. Um, so let's go to just an existing Prezi really quick from our gallery. Now, you will be doing almost exclusively Prezi video, which is very, very similar to a Prezi presentation. The difference, of course, is just that your camera feed is there. So let's just go to any Prezi here, right? Let's just go to this one, social media. Grips for, or 10 tips for growing your following on social media. And let's just look at what a Prezi actually is. So here's just a regular Prezi, right? And how I'm actually navigating it from the back end. So there is a linear flow to this. Notice there's 17 total frames in this presentation, and it will present linearly from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. I could set that order, right? So if I hit my right arrow, my guess is that it's going to go into content tips. I would guess this is probably the first step it takes. So I hit my right arrow, it goes into content tips, and you can see I've got a bunch of subtopics here, right? So let me even zoom out a level. And I use my scrolly wheel on my mouse to do all my zooming personally, my in and out of topics. But notice right off the bat, this is not a PowerPoint, right? It's got topic-based, it's a topic-based presentation rather than a slideshow-based presentation. So I could jump into either one of these. I could say, all right, forget the content tips. Let's do the test and learn tips. We could jump straight to that, right? We could jump straight into talking about patience, and we could jump straight to this one with this just super bright words of wisdom here. I don't know who made this, but it's a little bit funny with these almost like proverbs or something. But you know, you're able to navigate freely around the presentation, and you're able to let the audience guide the conversation. So kind of what we call conversational presenting. And this is, of course, the case in video as well. You saw when I had my content on screen next to me, I was able to go into any one of those topic areas whenever I wanted. So just kind of understanding how it functions a little bit different than PowerPoint will be helpful for you in understanding how you actually build a Prezi. Okay, so let's close this. And here I am on my dashboard. And you'll notice that I have had, so let's see if I was added to a folder. It looks like I was not. I made my own when I trained the team initially. It looks like I was not added to Brienne's folder, so that's okay. So you all will have a folder over here that you've been added to, okay? And when you open it, it basically just has some presentations inside of it. So what I wanna make sure you all know how to do is take a presentation and make a copy of it so that you can make your own version, right? So for example, the Aspire at Home one, right? If you're going to be inserting your own email and your own phone number and all that, we're not going to have you change the master copy, right? Instead, what you would do is you would click the 3 little dots and you would make a copy. When you make a copy, that copy belongs to you. Nobody else is a collaborator on it or anything like that. It's your own. You can make whatever changes you want. Nobody else sees it, right? So it's your own version. So I just want to make sure you all understand how to make a copy here. And I'll be doing it right here as well. Club template number 6 is the one that I was asked to conduct the training within today. It's a nice, simple template, and it should provide you the framework to insert most of the content that you might want to put into a presentation. So again, this version right now, if I go to my collaborators for it, you're all added to it, right? I think this is the same group for the most part. Some of these names look familiar. Brienne is the owner, of course. I have editing access. And what I want to make sure you know how to do is click the 3 little dots and make a copy. Because if I edit this version, I'm editing your version, right? So I don't want to conduct my training inside this template here. Instead, I will make a copy. And what that's going to do is it's actually going to pull the copy right into the editor. And this copy here is my version. So I might name it, you know, with my name or something like that. So I'll just let this pull into the editor here, and I'll change it. Instead of copy of club template number 6, I'll just put my name at the front, right? There we go. This is my version. Click OK. This is my version of club template number 6. Okay. So you'll notice right here, there's no background. I don't know if there are any intentions of bringing in the hands or anything like that again. I do know that we also are building a template for you, and Lynn can show that if you all want to see it. I might have even been added to it, but we do have a template for you. I don't know if those will be used in different cases, but this is the one that the training will be in. And what we learned today, you'll be able to apply to that template. Okay, so really quick before I do start making some changes here in the editor, I just want to go over the dashboard a little bit more. So on the top left, you have your 3 products, right? So video, design, and present. We'll be spending a little bit of time in design at the end, the last 15 minutes or so. But very, very easy to find your products or whatever you're trying to do. But notice that this template, club template number 6, even though you're going to be using it in Prezi Video, look at where the template is. It's in my Prezi Present tab, right? It's not in my Prezi Video tab. My Prezi Video tab is for my completed video recordings, right? So you could see here, I've got, these are all recorded videos, right? Each of them probably like a minute or so. But that's what you'll find in the video tab. Your actual presentation that you'll be recording the video with is still just a presentation. So that'll be housed right here in the Prezi Present tab. Okay, and here's my copy. And here it is, excuse me, still open in this tab here. And we could start to make some changes. So nothing too intense. Again, I was asked to actually keep it simple. So add some photos, add some text, whatever we might want to do here. So I want to quickly go through the editor itself. Classic hamburger button, right? Keyboard shortcuts, things like that. If you're on a PC, then if you see Mac, then basically it's control for you, right? Pretty simple there. Cloud icon, letting you know your changes are always synced and saved to the cloud. Oops, let's make sure you can see that. All changes are synced. Title, we've already changed. Style button, you should not have to use the style button. That should already be set. This is just like things like the color palette, right? And the text. The text is already set to the text that Brianne wants you all using. Or when I say Brianne, I think her requests come from above her. So I say Brianne because she's who we're interacting with. So whoever tells her that they want Noto Sans JP as the font and these colors as the colors, then those are already set. You shouldn't have to make any changes here. So you have those options. Insert button is how you'll add anything into your presentation. So if you want to add a photo or add some animations or some shapes or anything like that, a video, you do it here through the insert button. The share button here is very similar to the 3 little dots that you can access from the dashboard, right? So same as going right here. So if I wanted to present it or add create a link for it and send it to somebody, anything like that, add a collaborator, very similar to this button right here. And then lastly, you have the create video button up here, which I'd like to use while I'm in the editor. So if I hit this, what I can do is it'll actually let me turn my camera feed on inside the editor. And that way I can get a good idea of how my content looks with my physical background and also next to me, right? Making sure it looks okay on my tan colored wall. And then also that it's not covering my face anywhere, right? So if I zoom in, okay, plenty of room for me as the speaker, right? So there we go. And what I typically like to do is I even like to freeze the camera, right? So right about there, I'll just freeze it because that's where I expect to be when I present, okay? So let's take one last look over here and let's see what we've got. So we have intro and then topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, topic 4. Okay, so it's going to go intro 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to, the linear format right now is it's going to, or the linear flow is it's going to zigzag down from intro, topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, topic 4. Okay. Pretty straightforward. Let's make some changes here. Let's say I wanted to rename this topic right here, right? Something as simple as that. So let's just say our core values, right? I'm looking at your website over here and there we go. If that's off center, no problem. I can always click the text box and just drag it into the middle here and it'll put up those red crosshairs letting me know I'm in alignment in both the middle and the center. So horizontally and vertically, and there we go, right? So if I zoom into this topic by either double clicking it or again, just hovering over it and scrolling up with my mouse wheel right in, we could see that I have some content inside already. Now, I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, if it's supposed to be any particular content, but my understanding is that you pretty much have freedom to change what you want inside this template. It's kind of just add what you want wherever you want. But really my focus for now is just to show you how to add things if you wanted to. So I might choose to do a couple of things, right? I might choose to just say, maybe just edit this text here. And I'm just going to copy in this right here, copy and paste from your website right now. So just drop this in and it's going to be really big and that's okay. I'll just shrink it down and maybe move my topic up and just put this into place here, right? Something like this. Now, I personally would never put a big block of text like this into a Prezi, but the option is there to do so. and I could put this in just like this, right? Just copy and paste, add some text. If this wasn't here and I needed to add it, remember I just edited the text box. If I wanted to add my own text box, no problem, insert text. It's already going to be Noto Sans JP. It's going to be the color of the palette of the template, either white or black, right? One of these colors here. I could also change it to one of my other colors, but for now I'll just keep it white or black. And once again, I could just paste in that text. Shrink it down. Use the corner anchors to resize anything, whether it's a text or an image or otherwise. Pretty straightforward. I might get this to right about here and then just make it bigger, right? So maybe like this. And then I'll just rename this our core values. And so I might set it something like this. Easy enough to add your own text here. If I wanted to replace any of these things, I don't know. I think these are supposed to be goals. What are SMART goals? Measurable. I guess it would be measurable, something like that, right? Attainable, realistic, time frame, something. It's been a while since I learned the SMART goals. I always forget the S. Specific, I want to say. Right, so you can add these in, or you probably just like explain the aspect of it that is specific instead of writing it like this. But you have the option to edit this text very easily. So that's text box stuff, right? Pretty straightforward. If there's a placeholder image and you want to delete it, you can. So notice that this particular image here is actually grouped with this little graphic back here, right? It's kind of got this little accent thing. So if I click on it once, it selects the whole grouped object. If I click again, I could select just the photo, right? So now I've got just the photo. So if I'm going to swap this out with my own photo, I can come up here to replace. And I could either upload my own photo or search the gallery here. And what it'll do is it'll add the new photo in this exact position and space, right? So if I come over here and I type in something like students. Now, ideally, I would find one that's portrait style, right? Because otherwise it's going to crop into a little bit of a weird position. So I mean, I'll show you. So if I do one like this, it's going to crop in a way that it's just trying to find something that matches it. So I can always click on it and I can edit this, right? So if I click my little crop image here, maybe I want to use these people over here because they're blurry or whatever. It actually went to a pretty good spot right about there. But I was able to just swap in my own photo without having to try to add my own image and line it up next to this yellow shape and all of that stuff. So I could easily just swap it out. Okay. So let's say we want to go into, let's see if she put anything in intro. So not too much. I don't know if these are your own graphics or what they're supposed to be, but it's got little charts here that you can edit. So notice it says edit chart. If you wanted to change that percentage to something else, right? If you wanted, I believe this is a text box, and it is. It's just white text, I think. So I couldn't find anything on your website that corresponds to like, or that matches what this is supposed to be. So I could put in whatever I want here, some text, and of course it's white. So I would just make it be any other color. Maybe I'll go with your blue. So I'll just put in some text, right? And now it's getting a little bit clearer. In the event that you don't want something like this, of course you could delete it off, or you could even change the color. It's kind of nice to have something here. Maybe you switch it to like, you come up to the fill color and you switch it to maybe a blue, right? If you want to mix it up a little bit and just, set it behind your shape or something like that. Right now it's fading blue to yellow. Okay, so a lot of options there for kind of like minor customizing. If you want to change this text to, instead of black, maybe you want it to be the blue of your branding, right? So a subtle change there, still part of your branding, but just a little bit different. You have those options. So any questions so far? I mean, I'm not going to get super advanced. I'll do some, add some images and some things like that. But any questions while I pause real quick and take a drink? Okay. I see some nose. I see some eyebrows. Okay. So let's go ahead and continue. Let's just go into one here. Again, very similar. I mean, I could clear all this off. What I typically do inside a topic like this is I'll usually hit Control A, select all, and I'll usually just delete everything for a placeholder topic. Personally, you probably have a vision in mind at each topic level for how you want it to look. So you could do that, right? So now if I want to add my own image, I've got options. I could come up here to insert image. And maybe this time, instead of searching the gallery, I upload my own. I upload image, and it could search my computer here. I could put in a picture of Lynn if I want to, and I could just drop that in. I could add in additional images if I want to. So I'll give that a sec to load. There's Lynn, right? Put this wherever I want, put her in the corner here. I can add another image if I want to. Let's go to your folder that I've got for you, if I could find it right here. Right, so not a ton, but maybe I'll bring in this image of the students here. And it's a really big image from your website. It's like, not really big, but it's pretty large, which is why we were able to use it as a background photo on your template that we made for you. So I could bring in as many images as I want, right? If I want to edit it, I can. So I could select an image, come up here to the image editing. If I want to apply a filter to it or focus on something, you know, we've got all these filters here. You know, all of these, if I wanted to put on like a black and white, I could, all kinds of different black and white filters. So a lot of stuff along these lines. I might just go back to none. I can adjust, you know, brightness, saturation, things like that. If I want to get into the details of it, can apply a nice blur or a focus. So if I wanted to put some focus on, you know, this, I guess, because I don't want to single out any particular student. If I wanted to put a focus here, I could, and then I could change kind of the strength of that blur outside of it. So super blurry, right? Or kind of just a little bit blurry, something like this. And it's very easy to do. And I can just click update. I can add a frame if I want to as well. Make it like a film strip or like a wood frame, you know, or a black frame here or a wood frame here if I wanted to. Change the size of all that, right? So a lot of options here. I'll go no frame, but I'll keep the blur. So let's update it in. And you'll notice that it'll take a second here because, again, pretty large photo size. Take a second and drop this in just like this. Give that a second here. And I already see one other thing I want to touch on once this is done. So you can see I've kind of blurred out the rest here, and I've kept the focus on this thing here. Okay, so I could see that this one does not have this shape back here that the previous one did, right? So if I really liked, where was that? It was an intro. If I really liked this shape here, and I wish it were in all of them, no problem. Let's just hit Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac. Copy it, and let's just paste it where we want. If I want it here behind my students, no problem. Control V, paste it in. Right now it's going to be in front of everything, so I want to make sure that I send it to the back. Right click, send the back. And now it's behind all my other stuff, right? So now if I resize this or whatever I want to do with it, I have this little shape back here, just like I did in the previous one. I will say that in Prezi, do not feel like you have to stick to symmetry or you know, traditional alignment, things like that. So you might feel in a PowerPoint, you might feel like you're supposed to like center this here and put it right here so that this edge or this border is equal to this distance is this distance, right? Don't worry about that. I mean, feel free to go beyond your edges, beyond your lines. Use your edge over here to cut off if you want to. A lot of options for what you might choose to do. I'll shrink Lynn down a little bit. And if you want to rotate a photo, so I'll bring Lynn to the front. If you want to rotate any photo, hold Command on your Mac and hover over a corner, or hold Control and Alt on your PC and hover over a corner, and you can rotate it freely. So however much you want, just rotate it right about here, and I'll just put it on the top here. And there you go, right? So I've got this image, I've got this image. If you want to quickly crop an image, very easy to do. So if I want to just crop the, we'll just pick a half. Let's just pick the right half here. I can just select an image. I could come up here to crop image, and this will let me actually crop what I want. If anybody didn't like their picture, maybe he doesn't like the picture on the left, and I say, okay, no problem, fixed that, right? So you have options like that. You can crop an image very easily. If you crop an image, it always remembers what the original image was. So if I go back to my cropping, it's still here, right? I can still select it and bring it back, no problem. Or I could shift it and say, okay, let's just get this half over here or this section, no problem, right? You can crop the photo however much you want, bring it back to normal, and just bring it back. Okay, so any questions so far? I'm looking to see if there's anything special I should include. I did see that Brian had added a video, but let's see if that makes sense for you all. One thing I want to touch on is, let's see if there are any stack topics. So all of these are currently what's called a planet topic, right? Let's say you wanted to, let's say topic 4. So when I say planet topic, meaning I can add a new subtopic and I could go in yet another level, right? So that's a planet topic, meaning levels of depth are built into it. Let's say I want to add a topic that instead of having it pan and zoom around, it immediately switches pages, almost like a slideshow. You could do that with what's called a stack topic. So if you want to add a stack topic, it's very easy to do. I can come over here to stack and insert it, and it looks just like any other one. So in this case, I might just delete topic 4 and instead put this one in its place, right? So right here, put it into alignment with the others. There we go. And let's just call this core values as a stack, right? So there we go. If I want this text to match the text of the size of the other ones, no problem. If I start to resize, it'll put a box around it when it's the same size as the others, as we see here. So now I can kind of move this around. So what I want you to notice with this stack topic is when I zoom in, quite a bit different, right? Now it's covering my face, but it doesn't have to cover my face. I'm gonna do something really quick that's a little bit more, actually, I'm gonna keep it full screen. So in this case, my core values, notice that I don't have the option to add a subtopic. Instead, what it's adding is a page, right? So in this case, I might put core value number 1, and I could see the text here, and I'll just copy and paste it in. Paste, right? There we go. That's core value 1. So page 2, notice it's not a zoom and a pan. It doesn't pan from core 1 to core, or value 1 to value 2. It's just an immediate flip of a page, immediate transition, right? So at certain times, this will be more beneficial to you and a part of your story that you're trying to tell. So it doesn't always make sense to zoom in, zoom out, pan around, right? Sometimes it makes sense to just be able to hit next and go right into the next one. You know, core value 1 or core value 3 isn't like a subset of core value 1 or something like that, right? They're all just kind of equal level. Values 1 through 5 are equal level part of the core values. It makes sense for each one of them to just be its own page. Of course, if I want to, I can insert something. So if I want to drop an image in, I showed it through the insert button. You could also just drag and drop an image in. So if I want to bring in this one here, I could drop it in. I can make it my background for this particular topic. So I'll give this a sec to load here. And there we go. So now what I could do is I can bring all my other stuff in front of it. So to select multiple objects in Prezi, just hold Shift, and then I'll bring it to the front. And now what I'll do is I'll make this be my background here. So you're going to notice it's got some issues, right? Being that it's very hard to see my content. So what I might do in a case like this, with the photo still selected, is I might just kind of lower the saturation for this photo, or excuse me, the contrast, right? So I'll take it into the image editor. And what I'll do is I'll just come over here to my adjust and I'll just lower my contrast, maybe something like this, right? Clearly optimized for background. I can make it darker if I wanted to as well, if I want to use white text, which I probably will use white text, but let's just go ahead and hit update. And while that's loading, I'll switch my text over to white so that it'll stand out nicely on my new photo. But you'll notice that it'll be the photo, again, really large photos from your website, which are great. So it'll just take a second here. You'll notice that the photo is now clearly background, right? I can still put in, you know, shapes and objects and things like that if I wanted to. If I want to insert a little rectangle, you know, behind my text or something like that, or a banner, I can very easily. So I could drop this up here if I wanted to, put this over here and just kind of send it off screen or put it right there. You know, I could go all the way. Doesn't really matter, right? Whatever I want to do here, I could center this with my shape here, whatever I choose to do, just like this. So now, if I were presenting, I would land here, page 1, page 2 looks like this, right? Immediate transition though, instead of a zoom and a pan animation. So does that make sense for everybody? Cool. Okay. So the last thing I'll touch on here inside the editor is that Bitmoji integration. So I think this was the one that I had it was requested last time. So I created Bitmoji for this. And you could see that it's actually just a Chrome attachment. So I have it right here. Let's just let's find a topic that's a little bit more blank. Topic 3 looks pretty blank, and here's 2 subtopics. So if I want to drag a Bitmoji in, I could click my Bitmoji extension in Chrome, and I think it's still signed in. And I could just drop one of these in, right? I can drop in any one of these that I want. So I could go to like the good ones here. I could drop in any one of these if I want to, and just drop it right in, right? Very easy. Just drag and drop it right into your Prezi. You can use as many as you want. You can, you can edit them, you can crop them. They are images, so you could still apply filters to them and all kinds of fun stuff like that. Really, whatever you want to do, you have all of these options here. So, whatever else is available in Bitmoji. I'm not that familiar with it. I think it's just broken down by like happiness or something. But you could drop in any of these that you want. Okay. So any questions about anything that we showed inside the editor today? Any questions about any of this? Do you guys feel pretty good about creating some content? If you had to open up the editor right now, could you edit this? Could you edit this template to get it to say the message that you want it to say? And if not, then what areas could you use some more help in? I'm going to pause until somebody has to ask one question before I move on, because I know there's got to be something out there. This is a large group.
Ooh, should I be like a teacher and like popcorn on someone?
Yeah, get them.
Okay. Who is my victim going to be today? Sandra, do you have any questions about anything?
No actual questions. I think it's going to be more a matter of me going in there and playing around with it in order to get any questions and also see how it is.
Yes, that's a good answer. I think that, yeah, when you guys just take the time to go in and play around with it, I think you'll figure it out a little bit more and then more questions will come up. But I think I would think about it like if you guys are used to PowerPoint, then I would kind of think about what you used to do with PowerPoint and see if you can recreate it again in Prezi and just ask like those type of questions. So that might be a good start for you guys.
Can somebody give me an example?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just want to say you're doing a great job, Vince. Thank you so much. I know that silence is hard. It's very relatable. We get that a lot from our kiddos. So you're doing a great job. And even though I don't have a lot of questions right now, it looks very intuitive and you're explaining it very well. And I'm interested to see on the logistical end, like how you get it to put up on your screen, like in real time. So I'm interested in waiting for that part.
Perfect. So first of all, I appreciate that. And second of all, that was the exact question that I was hoping somebody would ask, was to say, how did you stream it into Zoom, right? Because that's going to be that's going to be key for you all, right? Zoom and Google Meet is my understanding. So I want to make sure you all know how to connect to both of those and stream your content into Google Meet or Zoom, depending on the scenario. Perfect. So then, there's certainly more we could cover, right? We didn't even cover animations. We didn't cover zoom areas. We didn't cover fade animations. We didn't cover advanced topic editing. And a lot of that we were asked not to for this particular time, but that's what we would do the next time. So definitely, it's absolutely the case that you will learn more by jumping into the editor and playing around. And I highly recommend doing it sooner rather than later. I can't tell you how many teams we meet with where we give them a training. They don't touch Prezi for 2 months. And then they come back to us and they say, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And they never opened it, right? So they needed to be trained again. And it was all pointless the first time. They don't remember anything. So, some of it'll come back and click, but if you can apply it immediately after learning it, right? So just that, not immediately after, like next day, some small amount of lag period, within the week or so, then, and you recall all of this information that you're encoding now, it'll definitely help you to pick up the Prezi editor a lot faster. And you'll be able to, it'll introduce questions to you, right? So you're playing around, you're going to say, man, I only know how to change, all of these colors, or, I want to make these not be squares. I want them all to be circles or something like that. I wish these were triangles or clouds, right? You don't know how to do that, but you want to do that. You email us, right? No problem. We are happy to help. But if you did want to change it, of course, you go up to style and you switch your shape to whatever you want it to be. If I want them to be hexagons, I switch it to hexagons, right? It's up to me. Okay, so.
I would even encourage you guys, so what Vince is training you guys on and this template that Brianne made for you is like for work purposes, right? Like you guys are going to meet with your kids on this. And you guys are all, I'm assuming you guys are all like home right now. So I would even encourage you guys to just go in there and make something fun and then meet with someone on your team and just test out what it looks like when you connect it with Google Meet, or if you guys use Zoom, so it doesn't feel too much like work right now. But once you guys play around with it and just add some fun Bitmojis, like Vince said, or add a picture or some text, I don't think it'll feel too much like you're forced to learn this, but it'll at least, make things a little more lighthearted. So that's just my suggestion for you guys.
Yeah, definitely play around. Do some fun stuff before you do some professional stuff. Like my educators always like this one because it's interactive for the kids, right? They can click on the nucleus and it'll zoom in, and they get a nucleus, or click on the Golgi apparatus and they get information about the Golgi. Oh my God, I forgot I put an audio clip on this one.
The Golgi apparatus is part of the endomembrane system.
Forgot about that. It startled me. If I go into mitochondria, I get different information here. And I would be on video for all of this if I were presenting it, but then I can also send it out to the students and have them be able to click through it themselves. So kind of being able to serving a dual role on something like that. So back to our template. So nothing else here. I mean, if I wanted to add the logo, I could drag and drop in the logo somewhere. It's kind of nice. It's in your other templates. And it looks pretty clean, especially, I mean, I guess it's matching my shirt and this bottom down here. But I could put this wherever I want if it made sense up here, which it doesn't. Maybe down here somewhere, wherever I would choose to put it. Realistically, I would probably move this over a little bit and probably put it down here on top of this shape, which gets a little bit hard to see the blue on blue. But options like that if you wanted to put something there. Okay. So then with that, let's just go ahead and let me preview this really quick. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Obviously, the camera feed would be on. And what we'll do is I will show you how to connect this first to Zoom and then to Google Meet. Okay, so let's go ahead and just close out of everything. And does everybody have the Prezi video app installed on their computer? Should have it. I see a lot of yeses. Great.
Yeah, I think Emily added it to all of your guys' computers, so you guys should have it.
Fantastic. Thank you. So when you downloaded the Prezi video app, what it did was it installed the Prezi video virtual camera. So I have a screenshot here because right now you don't see me going into my Zoom settings, right? I mean, we're on Zoom, so it hides it. So what I have here is a screenshot. When you downloaded the Prezi video app, it downloaded this camera here, right here, Prezi video virtual camera. It installed it to your computer. It's available in Google Meet. It should be available right now in Zoom. Can anybody click the drop-down box next to your stop video and see if you have the Prezi video virtual camera? I see some thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Cool. So then you're already ready to go. If I sent this Prezi to you right now, any Prezi, you would be able to open it into this Zoom meeting right now. Very easy to do. Actually, I believe most of these templates have been sent to you. I could even have you do it now. I'm not going to make you do that because it'll, there'll always be like one person who's a little slower, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot. So we're not going to do that now, but you all have the capability to do that very easily. So let's do it. I'm going to go to import from Prezi right here in my Prezi video app. And I'll keep this open here just so you can kind of see some context. I'm going to go to the presentation we just created and click import selected. And now what I'm doing, this is where you can focus on the screenshot. So I'm in the app, it's ready to go. What I'm doing in Zoom, I'm going up to my little drop-down arrow and I'm switching from FaceTime to Prezi video virtual camera. Okay, so now it's set, it's ready to go. You could see here, this is what it looks like. I set it to Prezi video virtual camera. So now when I click this video conference button, it's already ready. Zoom is waiting for this button. It's just sitting there eagerly waiting for me to click video conference. And when I do, immediately connects, right? Because that was the flow that I went with. If I went the other route, if I clicked video conference before I switched my camera in Zoom, it's a little bit more complicated, which is why I'm training it the way that I did. So if you can, always switch your camera to Prezi video virtual camera first, and then in the Prezi video app, click video conference, right? Now you can see I'm streaming in. I can click through this. I can still see you all. A little bit trickier since I'm also sharing my screen, but I can navigate through this just like this. I've got my emojis in here, and I can navigate through my presentation, right? So I'll stop my share or actually really quick, another thing with the presenting. I always have that ability right here. This is how I was able to change my view mode, right? My content view mode. So I could switch between no content, content and me, and then bringing in that background. So if I put a background here of, the kids or whatever it may be, I could bring it back in at any point. And I can actually do that with my keyboard. So numbers 1, 2, and 3 on my keyboard correspond to these 3 content view modes. So kind of shortcuts. If I want to, I might choose to have it bring the background in as I zoom into a topic. and I wasn't actually on the topic. So as I zoom into a topic, it brings my background, right? Which might be kids, it might be a school, might be a site, whatever it may be. And I could do that, and I could drop myself back in. As I go out, if I want to plan it that way, I can hit the two buttons at the same time, right? So if you play piano or anything like that, you should feel pretty comfortable just navigating through that way. So any questions about connecting to Zoom? Okay. So I will say that connecting to Prezi or to Google Meet is exactly the same way, except in Google Meet, you just find your camera a little bit different way, right? It's got the three little dots on the bottom where you go to your settings, but we'll still show that quickly because I want to touch one last thing here. Let me find a video on my computer, and it could be anything. Give me just a second here. I just want to find any old video. So let's just find an MP4 on my computer. There we go. So let's say that you are, dang it. So I got a new GoPro, and for some reason it made it my primary video player instead of like QuickTime, so it's a little annoying. But let's say if at any point I'm presenting, right? And I say, okay, I want to, I'm presenting my Prezi, and I want to show something on my computer, like a video or something like that, right? What I can do is I can immediately just switch to a screen share pretty easily. I could say, okay, I want to demo this thing for you really quick, or show you this website. No problem. Here's this video that I'm going to have you watch. Here it is. I'm still a small window somewhere up in the corner for you all, but you're now seeing this playful screen, right? And then I say, okay, I'm done with that. Back to me presenting. Let's go back into our next topic here, right? So it can very seamlessly transition between your camera feed, you and your content, and sharing something on your screen if you have to. So a lot of times we deal with tech companies, so it's like a product demo, right, that they have to switch to. But they don't want to give up their Prezi video. But you're able to just immediately transition seamlessly between camera feed and screen sharing. So with that, I do want to make sure I have plenty of time to cover Prezi design. So Lynn, if you want, we can connect really quickly to Google Meet. So I'll switch back to a screen share. There we go. And let's say I'm going to disconnect this one from Zoom. So just hit my little arrow. So there we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Google Meet. Give that a second here to switch my camera back in Zoom. So I don't want to have two separate apps set to the Prezi Video Virtual Camera, right? Because then they will be competing over which one gets to take the Prezi. I think it'll actually show up in both, but I don't even want to bring it up and have it fight anyway. So this is still the Prezi I want. I'm going to just start a meeting. Come over here. Okay, I don't have to name it, and then we'll just go ahead and start a meeting.
Don't forget to mute yourself, Vince, so that it doesn't echo.
Yeah, let's mute everything. Okay. So then what I'll do is I'll just join the meeting, and here we are. I could send this to Lynn. Oh, that's going to be an email. I'll just drop it in the chat here in Zoom. Where is my chat? There we go. I'll just send this to you, Lynn. Okay, so I guess anybody could click it, but you would all have to mute, and it gets a little tricky. So because we're on two meetings, right? So it starts to echo. So I'll send this to Lynn. So she'll join. And what I'm going to do while she's joining is I'm going to go to my settings, right? Find my camera, switch it from my default to Prezi Video Virtual Camera. There we go. And now I'm going to click the video conference button. You can see that I'm connected in Google Meet. I see my audience, they see me. Now, you probably notice that it's backwards up here, right? In Google Meet. It'll never, ever, ever, ever be backwards for your audience. Okay, so Prezi Video mirrors your camera, much like the front-facing camera on your phone, so that you can interact with your content, right? If Prezi Video didn't mirror my camera and I wanted to point to topic 3, I would have to do this, and it would be very confusing. So the fact that it mirrors it is very much for your benefit, but keep that in mind if you have any words or visual writing in your camera feed, because as you can see here, backwards, right? Because it's flipping it. Just like if you opened, the front camera on your phone, it would be backwards so that you can see your interaction or see your movements and all of that as if you were looking in a mirror. So I can navigate through this Prezi right here in Prezi Video. I see Lynn or my students or whoever it would be, and she sees my content and me, or she sees just my content. Okay. So any questions about connecting to Google Meet? Same way, right? It's just a matter of, you all are, so normally the only people who I run into this, or the very very older age groups, they can't really apply the how do I find settings, or they don't like know where to look for settings, or camera settings or things like that. As long as okay, where do I find my camera settings? That's it, right? You just go and look for it. But yeah, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, find your camera settings, switch it to, I thought Lynn typed that to me. So it knows that I'm typing, or it knows that I'm talking and my mic is muted, and Google Meet is telling me to unmute. So yeah, very, very simple to connect to Google Meet. If I'm done, I'll just say, all right, let's just close out. I could have switched my camera back in Google Meet before, but you could see it just went back to just not showing any content because I disconnected Prezi Video. This is what it was looking like on Lynn's end. This is the template that we built for you. So you could see that she's got her content right there.
Yeah, so this is what your students will see when you're connecting this to Google Meet.
Cool. All right, so then let's spend, I always just hang up on the meeting. Sorry, Lynn, glad you're still here. So let's spend the last 10 minutes or so, let me close out of this GoPro thing, on Prezi Design, which is our infographic tool that you can use to make flyers or any other type of graphic along those lines. Okay, so here you can see that sometimes I just use it to do something simple, like remove a background, right? Somebody this morning asked, hey, do you have a function to remove background from a photo? So I brought in a picture of Lynn where she has like a white background behind her, and I use the remove background feature, and it works pretty well. So we do have one that was provided to us here, but I don't want to stifle your creativity by saying, hey, follow what already exists. But I'll pull up the example anyway. So if you want to see what it looks like, and we'll kind of just show how to add, boxes and text boxes and logos and things like that if we want to. So here's the flyer that's been created inside of Prezi Design. It looks like there's a Spanish version. I believe you all would also do a Vietnamese version and maybe a Mandarin one based on our conversations yesterday. But here's just an example, right? So kind of just some school-oriented or education-oriented icons, some simple stuff like times and things like that. So I want to just show how to insert shapes like this, which I think might actually be, let's see what it actually is here. I don't want to edit this one. This isn't mine. So, how to insert text and a logo and some shapes and how to link some things. Okay, so let's just go to design. If I go to Prezi Design, I could start from right here for posters, for example. And there are a lot of really cool templates that you can use as sort of your starting point, right? So from the look of it, it looks like they might have used this back to school poster. You could change everything, of course, change the colors of everything, brand it as much as you want, but we offer all these templates that kind of give you a great starting point. So for now, let's just go ahead and use this one, back to school remote, and I'll click use this template. And then from here, it's pretty straightforward, right? It's just going to be editing it to say whatever I want. So if I want this text here to say something else, right? So I could just double click on it, and I'll just make this one say, let's put it all caps, Aspire, right? So pretty straightforward there. I might even shrink the text box down to match the actual word. There we go, right? Aspire. Put it in the middle of my shape here. Maybe this word says at home, right? There we go. I don't even need this other thing, unless it is still remote. I don't think it's remote. I think it's all on site. So if I wanted to, whoa, I could crop some different stuff like this. This is one big image, right? There's a couple of images back here. I could delete this shape. It doesn't really make sense to have this person here unless it's like drawing on the whiteboard or something, right? But you can add characters, add your own characters if you want to. I believe you could also add your Bitmoji. So if I have a Bitmoji of me teaching, I don't know if that would be like happy or sad or what, or I don't know where there's just like neutral Bitmojis, maybe an A+. I should be able to drop that in as well, but I'm not sure if Prezi Design takes it that way. Let's see if I could copy it. Copy image and then paste. There we go. So a little bit different, but I could put this in, right? You could put yourself in or whatever, put it down here, rotate it. So it's, rotate it so it's not covering my text, something like that, right? So pretty easy. I might choose to clear off all of this fluffy stuff and just put in, what is this that I saw on your other one? It was like a Post-it note, right? So I might just insert something that resembles a Post-it note. So maybe just a shape, right? Something as simple as this, make it your gray color. There we go. And then if I wanted to, I can rotate this one a little bit, and I'll just put another one on top of it. So Control C, Control V. Now I have two of the exact same shape, and this one I'll make white, and I'll just put it right here. Maybe I'll rotate this one back, okay, something like this. I don't know why it was like that, but it was. And then they had a little what is it called? A paper clip. So if I wanted to find a paper clip, I could. I understand that these are internal for the company. So I think that for the most part, licensing and stuff like that, you could go to Google Images and you can use Google Imaging. It's not like you're making, I don't know. That's all up to you all. I don't want to speak too much to, free use and all of that. But if I wanted to, I could copy or insert like a little icon of a paper clip. Let's see what we got. And if I don't find one that I like, I don't know what it would be called. Paper clip, if it's one word or something. There we go. So all kinds of different paper clips, right? And I could drop one of these in if I want to. Just drop it in and make it whatever color I want. So I might put it right here like this, and it looks like they used a light gray. So I'll just drop in a light gray color like this, right? And then I could resize it if I want to, put it right about here. And then I could, so I guess it goes like this, something like that. And then if I want to, I could start putting in some text, right? So if I want to put in my own text, no problem. Let's come up here to add text, and I'll just drop it in. Prezi design is actually much more intuitive than Prezi. There's no zooming technology, right? There's less of that new stuff, and it does a lot more what you expect it to do very easily. Daily themes if I want to. If I want to put in additional text here, let's just drop in another, like a little subtext here. I'll put this right in the middle, and I'll just put in some of these texts. So mindful Mondays, right? And then I'll come down a line, health and wellness Tuesdays. All of these look great. Workout Thursdays. The other one was just really long, technology adventure Wednesdays, something like this, right? So if I want my text to all be aligned in the middle, I could go right over here. Oops, I would do it for the whole thing, right? So let's select the whole shape, put it in the middle, maybe resize it a little, something like that, right? So there we go. Maybe even rotate this text a little bit. It looks like I didn't rotate my post-it all the way back, so something like that. And I could keep going, right? If I wanted to type in a link or something like that. So maybe down here I say register online at, and then I want to put in a link. I have a couple of options. I could actually, so it looks like this is a printed poster, so I would want to actually put in the URL. But if you sent this out in like an email or something like that, you could actually put like a big button that says click here to register. And when you click on it, it links out to the web page, right? But I believe these are for printing purposes. So I will keep it the whole URL. In this case, I'll just type it in, http www.learnla.org, and hopefully the website would load. I was having some trouble with it at home / right? So there's your website. I can make it as big or as small as I want here. Maybe move over my schedule and all of this stuff. So it looks like all those were grouped. So I might even just make this a little bit smaller. There we go. So I could just put this right here, right? As big or as small as I want. I just put that right about here. And I could keep changing all of this stuff, right? So very, very simple to do. If I want to insert your logo and maybe throw it on a circle. So let's get rid of my Bitmoji, put it down here somewhere. Throw on your logo here if I want to. Very easy. Let's just go ahead and insert a shape again. Let's just throw on a circle. And maybe I'll throw it off the edge or something. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't need to be inside a circle. And let's just make it white. And then let's just drop your logo right here. So if I want to add my own image, add graphics, easy enough, right? Come over here to images. And I could upload my own, and I'll just find your logo right here, which I don't think is actually the right logo because it doesn't have the yellow. Let's see, this is definitely not the same logo, so no problem. But that is how you would do it if you wanted to, right? Instead, what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste this one from over here to right here, and just put this one in instead, which I'm guessing that you have access to this. I just don't, I couldn't find it anywhere. Or I probably could, but this is the one that I was able to save. But I could drop this in just like this, right? So it's really up to you. I mean, you can make it as cluttered or as clear as you want. If I want to just send this to the back, right? Maybe just put this all behind my stuff. If I want it kind of just lurking in the background, it could be. Keep in mind that a big plus of, I don't know what just happened. A big plus of Prezi design is its interactivity, right? So when you're printing it out, you are limiting yourself a lot. If you're using it for web-based purposes, like embedding it on a page or sending it in an email or something like that, there's a lot more that you can do with it, right? So you get things like stickers and all this other animated stuff. You can have stuff fade in, you could put in GIFs. And this has a lot more fade in, fade out graphics, like rotate in or swipe in and all this fun stuff. So I could put in something for school and I could have, this rotate or this just here in my presentation and it would actually move, right? It would look great. It would be interactive. If I put in charts, you could click on them and all kinds of cool stuff. You could put in a map of your locations, all kinds of fun stuff that you can do in Prezi design very easily, right? So if I wanted to move all these things over really quick, give myself some more room to type, I could put in another text box over here. Let's just drop in a text box. It kind of just places it in a spot randomly. And then I could put in my text here, right? So what is Aspire app? Right? And then I could start to fill this out. So put it on one line. And maybe I put it here. If I want to change my background color, I can right now. The image is, there's an image there, right? So I might choose to replace it or put my own thing or something like that. I'm trying to grab the actual image. I could delete the background image that's part of my template and just replace it with your color, right? Your yellow, if I wanted to, which is somewhere around here. This is going to be a little bit brighter. Your yellow looks a little bit more dehydrated. So let's go right about there. There we go. So a little bit less bright, but I put your colors in. I could change these colors to be your blue and so on, right? So very clean look now. So any questions about Prezi design? I know I went fast. I wouldn't be opposed to setting up an actual Prezi design training down the line because there's so much you can do with it. I mean, I didn't cover charts or maps or any of the elements or data visualization stuff. I know that's not as important for a poster, but I didn't cover a lot. But any questions about Prezi design? And see how you might use it for posters and anything else?
Sorry, I had a question. Are you able to include like a QR code on there? Not sure if that's an option.
I'm sure you would be able to, if you have the photo, you would probably be able to just take the image and put it, or you could definitely take the image and put it in. So if you could screenshot it, if you have access to it, you could always screenshot it, right? So let's see if I could find just a quick example of one. And what I would do is I would just pull this up and let's say this is the one I wanted. I would just save it and import it. It's just like any other image, right? Or alternatively, if I wanted to screenshot like on a Mac, I could screenshot this one here and I would be able to bring this in just like this, right? So yeah, just like any other image, yeah. Cool, good question. I never thought about this, but yeah, if it is printed out, this does lend itself to some interactivity that otherwise I wouldn't have thought of. So anything else? Okay, and this is just the intro training. Again, as Brianne might have mentioned, we have additional set up or available down the line as we get further into the year and especially into the new year. So if that's it, then you all have my email, I believe. So if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always excited to see people working in the editor and having questions with me. Oh, I see that there's a chat that is behind the cameras. But let me see really quick. Mention that they're creating different colors of the logo that we can use. Oh, okay. So yeah, there's versions of the logo. Yeah, so you'll all have access to those assets. So that's it for me. So Lynn, if you want to take over.
Thanks, guys. Actually, I was going to say another thing about these flyers is a cool idea that you guys can use is one of my teams that I'm working with created like a Christmas card for like their clients. So maybe if you guys want to create a Christmas card for your students or your classes or something like that. But I will send this recording over to Brianne, and like Vince said, and we reiterated earlier, if you guys have any questions or if you guys want to schedule like a more advanced training, let Brianne know. And then, yeah, if you guys have any questions about anything, just feel free to reach out. But I hope you guys have a great weekend, and thank you again for spending your morning with us.
Thank you. I had one more question, actually. I'm not sure if you guys are, maybe it might be an advanced feature, but is there an option for a collaborative presentation? So let's say, for example, we had two coordinators presenting a training. Would they both be able to be seen on that screen, or how does that work?
Yeah, so basically you can add whoever you want as a collaborator to your presentation. So let's say Beverly created one and she added Andrew to it, but she's like, well, I made this, it's really cool. I don't want Andrew to like mess with it or edit it. She can add him as just a presenter collaborator, and they can both have the presentation in their Prezi video and connect it to Google Meet. And at that point, it's just kind of like a practice run. So let me pull up your guys' template and I'll show you what I mean by like the practice. You guys would really just kind of coordinate who's going to be saying what. So let's say you guys are both using this template here. Let me just change my, so let's say you guys are both using this template here. And then Beverly can say, I'm going to talk about topic 1, and then Andrew's going to talk about topic 2. So as you guys are both presenting it, it's up to you if you guys want to both have this on your screen, or while Beverly's presenting topic 1, Andrew can have his hidden like this. And then once Beverly's done, then Andrew could just bring his up right away. So you can add as many people as you want to a presentation, and at anytime you can grant them levels of access like editing or just presenting. So yeah, you can definitely have like, I mean, I've had a team use this for like a webinar and there was 15 people using the same presentation. So it's definitely possible.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem, good question. All right, guys, if there's anything else, let Brianne know. And I'm super excited to see what you guys are gonna create. Thanks, guys, have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.